I look, my head turned to the side, and there's a guy in a white coat way over there and a clipboard, and he just looks up right into my eyes and he says, "R-U-O." And before he could finish that word, I ejected out of my body. That was me separating from my body. And I exploded out of my body. I'm not kidding, like light speed, like it was, and I felt I still had a body, it felt like, and I went like this, and I said, my last human words were, "I'm finally free."
So I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of The Soul Inspired. Today we're talking with John Kelley. I'm really excited to talk to him. He's had a near-death experience and also works with remote energy healing. So we're going to go in some different directions today and possibly talk about some other experiences that he's had through his life as we were talking before the show. So thank you so much, John, for being on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you having me.
It's
It's
going to be great.
I'm looking forward to talking with you.
I definitely can feel the connection right away. I appreciate you being here. And I always go back before, so I don't know when the NDE happened yet. I'm going to find that out in a moment. But I go back before that, and I go as far back into childhood, just because something I like to do, just to get a little bit of who you were as a kid.
Well, I was born in Northwest Washington near Canada, and uh, uh, I know that the family was chosen for a reason now, but I didn't know that for a long time. And my mother was like one of those my on my mother's side, everyone was Christian. They had their own church, ministers, and so my mother, but grandmother, grandfather, and my mother, they actually lived unconditional love and kindness, and it was like part of their nature. And so my mom was like an angel,
Hmm.
and my dad was like uh, he was he came from a violent family, and I don't know how far back in his generation that went, but or in his family line, but he was really violent
Hmm.
and dangerous violent. Like, and so I lived in fear, like primal fear for the first 8 years of my life.
Wow.
And my mom said that I begged her for a year every day crying for her to divorce my dad, and she always wondered where I learned the word divorce
Right. Right.
as a kid. And he's better now. Uh, well, plus, age tempers you down, and also when everyone rejects you, and like he went through some hard knocks, and so anyway, so that was that, and then I went when I was 13 and a half. So I just went through normal school and everything. I was really untrusting of outside authorities like parental. I mean, I trusted my mom, but I was so traumatized, I didn't really understand what that meant.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
at the time, I was really rebellious, and I was like, I did not trust any outside self-proclaimed authority over me whatsoever, which is
Hmm.
really important for my life later on. Um, but I didn't know that then, and I was
Right.
pretty tormented. So when I was 13 and a half, I always was getting picked on. It was like I was attracting it to me through the fear I was holding. And so I started training. I talked my parents into starting me in martial arts. And so strangely enough, what I noticed is as soon as I didn't know anything, like the first 6 months, I was just trying to get the basics down. So I noticed right away that as soon as I had any confidence at all, everyone quit picking on me.
Hmm.
Like I didn't even know anything. but I still trained. And I what kept me going, I think, was that when I was sparring a brown belt, a beautiful, like 18-year-old blonde brown belt woman. I was just, young, starting to go through my uh, adolescent or puberty or whatever. She was so amazing. She
Mm.
kicked me like 7 times from my ankle to the top of my head in like a hundredth of a second.
Oh,
I
wow.
couldn't even turn around to escape, but it was like, I don't know. I know now, but I didn't know then. I fell in love with powerful women.
Mm.
And I didn't realize it was because I didn't know they existed to start with. And I always thought women were victims,
Mm.
like from my dad. It was unconscious, though. I didn't think that consciously. And when I met a woman who had capped her power, who had um, learned how to apply it, how to focus it and apply it, it changed my whole perspective. And um, anyway, so I kept training. I went to a different martial arts system, and then and another one, and I kept going, taking different types of systems, Japanese and Korean and Chinese and American, and I developed my own also. And uh, but I'm not really into that anymore. I mean, I'll never be able to undo that neurological structuring, the
Hmm.
reflexes and things. But anyway, so I had a lot of power and I was really getting off on it because I felt so powerless. And thank God my mother was kept my heart alive and all that stuff, or I would have went the wrong direction.
Mm.
Because I mean, I could jump up and break a 2x4 8 feet in the air with my bare foot and crack it at least, depending on the grain. And and it was just so amazing and fun for me. And I practiced and imagined and I completely engaged in my system. And I saw masters doing things that were pretty much impossible even now to me.
Right.
Like bending 7 pieces of rebar on the hollow of their throat at the same time.
Wow.
And then we tried to bend them back and we couldn't even budge them.
That's
Standing
nuts.
on it, reefing on it, and and break shattering arrows with and no red marks were left. And even then, before I started my energy work training, I could see bubbles in the air, like popping. There was like this concentrated power. There's there's just something more. And I understood that there's more to us than we realize. And some people have developed it. Some people have found a way or a system to harness their own true power.
Hmm.
Here I am with all this power, and I rejected Christianity also. They when I was 12, my mom and my grandma said, "Okay, you're 12 now. This is my rite of passage, the American rite of passage. You can
Right.
the modern day rite of passage. Okay, you can choose to go to Sunday school or not now that you're 12." And I says, "I don't want to go." And they says, "You're going anyway."
Mm.
And
Right.
what I noticed is anything I was forced to do, I rebelled against. I think it's natural for people to just because you want to do your own thing and be yourself, or not have things chosen for you. At least that's just a thought on the top of my head right now. So here I am, 18. I did go through a fighting stage for 2 years, and uh, I only lost the first one, and boy, was that motivation.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So then you
Yeah.
didn't lose
Like I
anymore.
will never lose again.
Wow. Wow.
And so anyway, so I believed I was really okay. Ever since I was 11, I was looking into the Loch Ness monster, all the given mysteries, Loch Ness monster, Sasquatch, UFOs.
Hmm.
I don't think near death experiences was in there back then. And there's other things too. I'm not recalling at the moment. And I was really interested. I was always looking at the sky. I don't know if it was some escape reflex, like get me the heck off this planet or what, but I was really interested.
Right.
And one thing I noticed, I researched through the libraries, and one thing I noticed is the authorities, which I rejected with all my willpower. Like no one will be an authority over me, right? The people that supposedly knew what they were talking about would grab your interest, perk your interest, and then circle you around and lead you nowhere and say, "Oh, well, it's inconclusive." And that just did not work for me.
Right.
And even at 11 years old,
Right.
I
So you,
noticed that young that they were just leading you in a circle, a loop, and then leaving you on the edge of your seat, waiting for the supposed authorities, which is them, to tell you what is true.
mm,
And so this is my nature, like natural nature here and it wouldn't have been that way if I was born into a really peaceful family.
right.
I would be a whole different being. And for my life path, the family that I born into or was born through, or however you want to put it, um, was the perfect one because I needed to be independent and to trust my own self. Like, so my friend, and then this brings me to when my friends and I took off to Arizona from Washington to try to, get away from where everyone knows us and thinks of us a certain way and start somewhere else fresh, the adventure. And he had an aunt down, my friend Rick had an aunt down there in Phoenix, Arizona. But we were on a journey, and his brother Corey came with us, and we're on a. I get the word pilgrimage in my head,
Mm-hmm.
just like popped in,
And
and
how
so
old were you at this time?
I was 19.
Or 19. Okay.
Yeah, and so this is when the near death happened.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Is in
Okay.
this journey.
Right. So you're saying basically though you had Christian, your mother's side was Christian, so you had faith that was kind of given to you to try out as to go after, but then you kind of you weren't feeling it at some point in your teen years and then decided to at 19 now kind of take off from your current life. Is this like
Yeah,
I'm
start.
trying to summarize it, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
yeah,
like
okay.
that.
Okay.
And it wasn't that I. It's just I don't know. I did read the Bible 3 times. I think I was like 16 then, 3 times in a row. And I tried, at one point I went through a phase where I really tried to be what I was being, to reflect in my own life what other people were showing me Christianity was.
Okay.
And I mean, it was deeply embedded in me. There's no way around it because I was raised with it. Um, but I was also very traumatized and pretty screwed up, I think. Even though, thank God I had a good nature, that's all I can say.
Right.
And because I don't know, we probably wouldn't be talking right now.
Right.
Unless, for who knows what reason, uh, be it death or prison, like
Yeah.
so. Uh, so yeah, I was really wild. I wasn't really into trying to get girlfriends very often. I was more into fighting and like full contact, like real fights at the
Oh,
cruise.
even so at 19 you were
Oh, well, I was starting to step out of that, but for yeah, 18, 19, yeah, I was a fighter. And I'd have 3 friends go on the cruise strip and find bullies picking on people, and I
hmm
would come up and look at the victim and intuit their psychological stance. I would feel it, and then I would take it on in myself and mirror it and say, "Let them go," and they
Mm,
would turn on me. And I called it
right.
the move of the week because I was always learning new moves. And I had
Wow.
this theory that if you didn't use it in real life, you didn't really know it.
Right.
And back then, but I'm not that way now, everyone.
Right. Right.
Although if I'm around your group, you're very safe with me
That's
as a
good.
part of your group.
I was just thinking that myself. I thought, oh, you're probably a good person to have around in case you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, kind of thing. Okay. So you rebel. You were rebellious in your own way, but you also found something you were good at, and so put that together and kind of, yeah, you're right. It could have been a nightmare too, right? It could have went in a pretty bad direction.
One
Um,
wrong move.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so you had moved a little past that. You're 19, you're with your buddies, you're going, where were you traveling to and what was the reasoning again? You're just to kind
We
of,
were going to go down there and find work and
okay.
just it was really a loose idea. Just we had
Let's
enough
just do
money.
this.
Yeah,
Right,
we had enough money. Like we're going on an adventure, like
right.
and also all of us wanted to it was like it was we talked about it, but it was inside of us. We wanted to get away from everyone who had us pigeonholed and everyone we knew us a certain way and we just wanted to go somewhere else and just start fresh. And
Makes
um
sense.
yeah,
Were you from a small town?
it was back then probably 35,000
That's
or
fairly small,
40,000.
consider,
Yeah.
compared to the large, you know, main cities and stuff.
It's
That's
bigger
nuts.
now. Like it's twice the size now.
Right, right.
I wouldn't live there now.
I just know sometimes when people are in small towns and everyone knows everyone, it can, it can get a little bit. Some people love it too. It can go either way, right? It's just that for a youth that's trying to like start a life, looks like you were just trying to kind of go out and say, okay, what do I do now? Like, what's going on? Like, who am I going to become? That's what I'm getting from this. And so you
Yeah,
kind of were kind of
yeah,
going out in a loose way, like you said, like in a way, like, let's just go try it out, like have fun, see what happens. But
yeah.
deep down, like, I'm assuming that there's a part of you inside that was trying to figure out what you're doing. So you're kind of going in this direction. I'm curious as to how this led into an NDE. So let's go there.
Yeah, it's really odd, but I feel like it was an orchestration from a higher level towards, I know that that's what it was to trigger me into what I'm doing now. Because I've been doing this since 1987, my energy work training and practice. I'm constantly learning. Like discovering is what I mean. Discovering more. Because no matter how much we think we know, there's always more to the story. No matter to our own self, there's more to us, there's more to life. There's just more. And that's a good thing because, boy, I can't imagine how bored I'd get if that was it, or if this is all there was.
Right. So you were traveling.
Well, your truck broke down one time in California and we had to get it fixed. There goes a bunch of money. Then it broke down again. There goes a bunch more money. And so now we're down to limited funds. And so we make it to Arizona or to Phoenix area. And I don't know if you've been there, but you can drive back then, you could drive down one street for 50 minutes. It was so huge.
Well,
It's a massive, now it's way bigger. I don't even know. You could probably drive for 2 hours straight for one street straight.
wow.
It's just huge. And it was in the summer, it was 110, 120 fluctuating. We didn't have air conditioning, uh,
Mm,
but we didn't really want to. What happened was, is we basically ran out of money. We had enough money for the gas, and so we ended. We ran out of. We didn't have food, and so I don't remember if we ran out or brought some with us. I don't even remember how that went at this moment. But we tried to go to the food banks. We didn't have a state ID from Arizona, so they wouldn't let us have food. They were like, get lost. And then we went to all these churches, and instead of looking for work, now we're hunting for food so we can eat. And we ended up starving for right around 2 weeks. I always say 2 weeks, but I don't remember exactly. At least 10 days, 2 weeks. And some really amazing things happened when we went into that state. After a certain point, a few days or however long, I don't remember that either. Hunger disappeared, gone. And all of our I'm pretty sure they were going through the same thing, Rick and Corey. But I was in a state of being. Whoops, can't see it. There it is.
There it is.
Being. uh, it was like I was just in this state of they were, I know they were too. We're all just like driving. We had nowhere to be, nothing to do,
Wow.
no responsibilities, and we were starved out. So this is yogi masters will do this in order to get into higher states of mind. They'll fast or in food fast. There's other types of fasting like not thinking. And uh, so I have never said this before on live camera, but I'm going to tell you what happened.
Okay.
So I didn't know anything super special, even though I could do things other people couldn't do, like jumping way up in the air and all that stuff. But so we're cruising along, and there's this massive black cloud bank coming straight for us, and it's big. Yeah, I don't know if you know about the storms over there
Oh
in
yeah.
Arizona. Oh my God. And these raindrops, I swear they were 3 inches long. Boom, 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 hit the window.
Hmm.
We're in this blank state. Oh yeah, we had our backpacks in the open back end. And this is a little truck, a little Ford Courier. And
Hmm.
there's three guys in there. Rick was 190 pounds, and so we're all shoulder to shoulder. And the raindrops hit the window and we're all blank. And all of a sudden I got this huge feeling and charge went through me. And I says, we need a tarp. And they both looked at me simultaneously. They're brothers. And they says, yeah. And as I started turning my head away to look at the road, a tarp materialized in out of thin air with a loud cracking noise. It was exactly the perfect size. It was a blue tarp. It was completely flat up in the air. It goes boom, and the wind blew it right in front of us, and it wrapped around the telephone pole. I said, "Pull over, pull over!" Now we're all riled. We pull over, jump out, grab the tarp. We surrounded the truck and tucked it under the backpacks. They didn't see it happen. They were looking at me.
Mm.
As I was looking, it was almost like I couldn't be looking directly at it for it to come through
Hmm.
because it was in my peripheral right on the side. And we were just passing this like half a mile square parking lot that was overgrown, and all the concrete medians were turned all over the place and broken, and it just cracked. And that came
Wow.
from zero thought. And then all of a sudden, one thought came through, and it came through with a huge charge. I'm pretty sure they had something to do with it because we all simultaneously, they both, yeah, we all like at the same moment basically materialized a tarp. To this day, I'm like, I tried all kinds of tricks, like putting $100 bills in a box and setting it just on the bottom and setting it and visualizing that when I open the door, it's going to be full of $100 bills, but I could never get it to
Right.
work.
Right.
And I was trying because I know that it is possible
Yeah.
now.
Wow.
I know for sure.
Hmm.
And
And
uh,
you were all in such a deep state at that time, right? So like,
yeah, and
yeah, that's the
I
interesting
didn't
thing.
even tell them. I didn't tell them because
Mm,
they probably judge down on me or something, right?
right.
Like, oh yeah, right, because I'm the one with the big imagination and
Mm-hmm.
and talk, a lot. And
Right.
yeah, really about what a potential possibility that was too far out of range and nobody would ever, but they'd be like, yeah, whatever. And
That's wild though.
yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, we're cruising. Okay, and then that happened. And then I don't know how much longer later, how many days or whatever, I don't remember that. We were in this timeless being state, but all of a sudden I got another inspiration went through me that we could go to a blood bank and give blood for money.
Mm,
And it just boom, it just like lit me up like out of nowhere. I don't even it came from my deeper level, where all our ideas come from. And our deeper intelligence like surfaced it in my being. And so boom, the phone books over there are like that thick. There is a big place, hundreds of thousands of people. And now there's probably millions, probably. And I don't know. And so we found it turned out to be a plasma bank where they
mm.
take it out, they spin out the plasma, then they put it back into your body with a saline solution, your blood. And
Okay.
so we found the place. It was so hot out. I had a button up short sleeve shirt that was open, thongs and shorts. It was hotter, but and back then I had long blonde hair,
Mm,
like
yeah.
shoulder length, like and you can kind of see there's still some left here.
It's there.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, probably ever since all my psychic training, all the things that I saw, this is why it all just ejected. Like
That's hilarious.
but no, actually my dad, and my mom's dad. So I had no hope.
Yeah.
It-
They usually say it's the mother's father, I think they say.
yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I got the double dose on that one. So
That's hilarious.
so so we go there and they hand us clipboards. And we read and it said you had to have 3 square meals a day for 7 days in a row before they could extract blood from your body.
Hmm.
And also, right over there was a big rack of fresh bread from a bakery that they had donated it to the blood bank or to the plasma bank. And
Hmm.
we all looked at each other, boom, and we signed it and
Right.
handed it back, filled it out, handed it back, went over there, started gorging on bread.
Yeah,
And
I mean you're starving. It's like
yeah,
this is
yeah,
how we're gonna get some food into us, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So then we get called back there. There was 4 rows, uh, two facing each other, and then back to back and facing each other, like one, two, three, four. There was like I swear there was 60. It was a huge place. They weren't all full, all the reclining things you sit in, like these chair things. And so they plug in my fork prong into my vein. I mean, those things are huge needles. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know, I think about it later. And when you eat a lot of the blood in your body goes to your digestive tract. But I didn't think of that then. And I didn't even know it, I don't think. Maybe. I don't know. And so, boom, I'm just like kicking back. Rick's behind me over there, over one and back against the wall. And there's someone behind me facing towards him. And so, la, la, la. And all of a sudden, boom, I started feeling like I was going to pass out. And I've never passed out. I came close, I guess, one time when I smashed my finger when I was lifting weights. Uh, but I was able to hold myself in my body and not pass out and just breathe, and the wave went away. And the pain overwhelmed me. But I was like, with all my willpower, trying not. I knew I felt like I was going to pass out or faint or whatever, and I was like, oh, like that feeling.
Yep.
It doesn't feel good. And my head turned. I was getting to the point where I was going to eject from my body, right? And I looked. My head turned to the side, and there's a guy in a white coat way over there and a clipboard, and he just looks up right into my eyes, and he says, "Are you oh?" And before he could finish that word, I ejected out of my body. Like, and the ejection was, it was, my vision was starting to go like a blank TV channel in the old days, those little specks
Mhm.
right in the middle of my vision. And then I started hearing Velcro ripping apart. Like, I don't know. My usually microphones will cancel out loud noises, but
Yep.
it was like a ripping sound, and that was me separating from my body, and I exploded out of my body. I'm not kidding, like light speed, like it was, and I felt I still had a body, it felt like, and I went like this, and I said, my last human words were, "I'm finally free." And then my body and everything just dissolved, was gone. And I didn't remember John and the earth didn't even happen. Like
Hmm.
it was gone. Like it was disappeared. Like I didn't have any thought or any recognition of earth or John or anything of my life. And and it just dissolved. Oof. And I was, and that includes my body, what felt like my body. It was gone. And I'm this I'm flying that way, like, and this freedom bursts from the center of my being like the sun shining light forever in every direction and never stopped. Just the purest freedom you can imagine. Just and it wasn't overwhelming. It was like ecstatic but not overwhelming. And then joy bursted in. The freedom caused the joy to burst, and it was this joy I have only felt a few times for seconds only since then, that deep, that pure and true joy. And and I was just flying at a 45-degree angle, by the way. It was like that. And then I started inverting my attention, and I started getting curious and looking. And I was traveling, and there was like speckles of energy, like this ball of energy. But I discovered that it wasn't me. It was a carrier for my awareness. Like my awareness is like pure, like it didn't. I thought for a while that that was my energy body, but um, I got the upload later on that it was the carrier that was bringing me back into my larger self.
Oh,
And anyway,
interesting.
yeah, really trippy. And so I'm inverting my awareness in and through and looking around this energy, and the energy was folding on itself. This thing, it was like, it wasn't just traveling, it was like folding on itself really fast. And and then now here we are. There's no more Earth, no more John, no more lifetime. I'm somewhere in there, I felt as if when I contemplated it later, that I don't remember if I felt it while it was happening or if it came to me later, but it felt like I was the being I always had been. There was no question. I hadn't never been anything. This is me. This is what I am. And like I
Hmm.
didn't even have that thought, actually. Like I didn't think like that until I rebooted when I came back. And then so I'm cruising a million miles an hour, and now I'm starting to gather, my awareness is starting to like, you know, function. And I had the, I don't know how to say it without words, but the inner curiosity of where I'm going.
Hmm.
Like, I
Like
guess
the knowingness that you of where you're.
no, I was curious, like where I'm going in this direction, and my attention went towards where I was going. It
Mm.
was like a curiosity, and as soon as I had that curiosity, everything stopped. Boom! Everything, my motion, and I was right underneath the belly of my. I know that this is the larger me, a massive ball of energy, massive, like the size of the moon or something. It was so huge. It was just massive. And there was, everything stopped when I had the curiosity of where I'm going. And I got this full body upload of the answer, like not body, full being upload, like, um, a combination of like feeling, visuals, knowing, um, comprehension, understanding, kind of this blend. Whoosh went through my whole being. I can't say, well, I guess that could be a body. I think we're just a piece of awareness, but I'm not quite sure yet, even after all this time. And and so like like it showed me that okay, this ball of energy was pushing against the membrane of this universe. It was like pushing on a balloon. There's a dent. It was pushed in partially, like a fifth of its body of the massive ball was pushed in to the envelope of the dimension I was being extracted from.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were in between, not to interrupt you here, but you're from what, it's the first time I've ever talked to somebody with this because what comes to me is you were like at the doorstep,
Hmm.
basically, because a lot of people will tell me their NDE stories and they're going through that process, but they don't stop there. They're either going through into it and then there's some other experience, or they haven't quite got to that
Yeah.
part before they get brought back down. You're literally right at that edge of the two dimensions,
Yeah. I
almost
was looking right
between the
at it.
two. Right.
Yeah.
So once you were aware of it, everything stopped and you were there because you were kind
Well,
of heading in that direction, were you not?
I was being real. Okay, so
Hmm.
the full realization or the inner, when I asked, I received. I had a curiosity and I received the full knowledge of what exactly what I was curious on where I was going. And I got the vision that that is the real me, the true, like eternal me, beyond the word me, by the way.
Hmm.
And it had joined this, it had invested a part of its energy into this dimension, like injected it into this dimension. And
Hmm.
not only that, but it had tooled the energy, the nature of itself as that piece of energy, tooled it so that when it immersed itself and came into contact with this world, that it would respond a specific way, which would bring it specific abilities. This, your nature is, is drawn towards specific things. And it's like the full nature was toned down and it was tooled, this energy that I am here. And it was injected into this world. And but the time it took for me to get to that, I mean, that line of energy, I don't even, must have been light years long or something.
Hmm.
Like, because I was going like at the speed of light, or whatever. It's so fast. It was at first exhilarating, and then I started stabilizing it. But I was still traveling, and then I got that curiosity without human words. By the way, it was just an inner curiosity of, huh, where am I going? Without words, human ideas or words. and just pure. And that's when as soon as I asked, I got the upload, and it was like perfect timing because I almost like I probably wouldn't have come back. I don't know. I was getting reeled in,
Right.
and and like and or it was reeling its investment back into itself.
Wow. Wow. The way you're
Yeah.
describing this, I just have to, not to interrupt you here, but I got to
Oh
jump
no,
in for a
I
sec
want you to. I want you to ask
because this
questions.
is this is something I don't understand why I've always had this terminology, and I think other people have since said it because I'll say this to other guests and they'll say, "Yeah, that makes sense." Because I'll take my hand, right, and I'll say, "This is us," right? So like this is us,
Uh,
because a lot of times with people I talk about, whether it's multiple lives or past lives, future lives, all these different things, different dimensional lives, whether we're on different planets, we can get
yeah.
really right down a crazy, not really crazy rabbit hole of that, just, but if this is us, then this could be you. Like if
Right.
this is you, this is you. Like this is John. But really this isn't John. Like this is like John is just who this person is being here in this dimension. And once that's done and the meat suit kind of goes away, this just kind of comes up. Now maybe another one springs open somewhere, I don't know, or it goes elsewhere, but the idea is it's just a extension of this higher self. And I've
Yeah.
always envisioned that.
Yeah.
I've always envisioned that in that way. And the
It's
more
true.
people, yeah, the more people I talk to, I'm like, well, then you're saying exactly the same thing. It's like you're just saying it in a very, very descriptive way that I've never heard. So I really appreciate it. It's very interesting the way you're
Yeah.
saying it. Did you see the Earth under you, or
No, there is
was it a
there was
dimension? Because
there was
obviously the Earth
no,
is in this 3D and you're in this 3D. Or
no.
you just so you didn't see it. It was
I
like
was traveling like
you're in the
uh
in between of the two places. You're
I would say millions of miles, but I don't think
wow.
on that level miles exist. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure that's here. That's our idea.
Right, right. That's our idea. There's like how fixated we are on like 3-eye Atlas flying through the
Yeah.
outer ring. It's like
Yeah.
it's not even close to the speed that we probably travel when it's our time because
Yeah.
but yet it's so fast that if that thing went through a street here, they'd take out every house in 2 seconds. Like it's so quick. Yet
It'd
that's not
probably
even
wipe the
close.
earth out,
Yeah, it would. Right. Yeah.
crack it open or something.
Yeah, but yet you're going even faster than that because the speed doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like it's almost just like right.
Yeah.
Um,
It was really palpable. And so I get okay, I could see that thing, which is
mhm,
I shouldn't call myself my larger self that. I can actually feel it laughing in its own funny way, like chuckling about me calling it. But I could see it, and
mhm,
I could see the envelope, it's like this is like an energy dimension.
mhm,
Like I don't, there's a lot of things I haven't. One thing I discovered is that as soon as we conclude something, it's like we lock it into position. We make a conclusion and it's like a power lock. And now this is what is true for us. And what I've discovered, like about the word God and trying to nail it down, into an understandable symbol or just a description, that when we do that we block ourselves from receiving further understanding, like because we're locked on one idea and we hold to it.
mhm,
And so with this experience, I was fortunate enough to have, or to be gifted, really, or to I don't think I had a choice, really. Like I think that level of my being was like, all right, it's time to trigger him, and or trying to trigger myself on that level, trying time to trigger myself
mhm,
to start waking up. And so to me, this was all in orchestration. This is the uploads I've gotten since then. Is it was it was created as a trigger for me to begin to completely shift my life into a different direction. And so, but that wasn't the end of it. So boom, I get this huge upload. Everything froze, stopped, and then I got this full being upload, and I was looking right at it, not with a body, but my awareness was looking. I was looking at it
Hmm.
but I didn't have eyes, and which is a whole nother rabbit hole. And I get the word awareness. It's like my awareness was looking at it,
Hmm.
and so then everything shifted like, and I was shifted over like to the right into what I could only call the void, which is pure energy. It was like space without stars.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been told about this place.
It's real, by the way.
Hmm.
Like it is there. You'll hear it more too later, I'm sure. And and then eventually, I can't postulate. I don't want to conclude. See, I was given the upload from the deeper level of myself. Don't conclude. And I'm like, this is way back. And I'm like, well, how can I not make a conclusion about something? Like
Hmm.
that's how we function.
Right, right.
It's like, and then it gave me when you ask, you receive. It is true in the Bible. When you ask, what it doesn't say in there is that every time our nature calls for something, we're asking. Every time we focus, every time we think, we're asking.
Mm.
It's not just prayer. It's like it is a function, an internal function that every time we focus our awareness, uh, well, there's exceptions to the rule because after a certain point, once you understand the baseline, you can step beyond it and use it a different way. But first, you have to discover the baseline. And then like this for instance, for instance, when we think, we trigger a feeling,
Hmm.
how we feel about what we're thinking about.
Right.
Now, when you know that, you can think without feeling, without engaging your feeling, or you can generate a feeling without engaging your thought. See,
Hmm.
once you know the baseline function, you can move it around, you can use it in different ways. And once you realize we have a creative capacity, and that the emotion is the juice behind it that causes the alignment of it in your life,
Hmm.
you're going to want to know how to think without feeling, because we think a lot of crazy stuff we do not want to happen in our lives.
Right. You,
Especially if we watch movies or
yeah.
we're using our imagine. See, the creative process is imaging and charging it with feeling.
Hmm.
There, I'm getting the word desire. There's desire is behind it. Like I didn't even think of that before. The inner part of me like popped that forward, like there's more to the story, which
Hmm.
is how I live my life. There's
Right.
more.
Yeah.
I do not lock down on anything. The moment I have a realization, I know any moment I'm going to have a further refinement of that realization,
Mm.
and that I can't lock down on it. The reason we lock down on ideas is because we're taught everything is outside of us. And I call it objective perception training. And we're taught to forget our true nature when we're born, our true being, the true being we are, and we start getting programmed as the family member we are, male or female, and to what those how we're supposed to be responding. It's all inclusive immersion. And so we do start forgetting our true nature really young, and we're taught, instead of subjective perception, like direct. If you don't experience if you When you experience something, that is real. When you memorize some analytical fact and recite it on cue, that is not real, and it's also non-evolutionary. which life is always expanding and growing.
Mhm.
And as we are life for
Right.
real.
Well,
And
you're also tapping on the idea of the manifestation, right? They talk about when you're wanting to manifest, they actually teach you to feel what you're seeing
yeah,
because that's how you create it in your life. And the
yeah.
more you do that, it starts to pop up. And by the time it pops up, you forget that you manifested it because you moved on, but because you did so much work getting there. So it makes sense.
Well,
It's kind of the
we're
opposite of
doing
what,
it.
yeah, like you're saying, but you're also
Yeah.
saying be cautious of the things that you're feeling towards because you don't want those things.
Well,
But
it's
yeah.
it's like there's more to the story because we have a design that is everything is designed. It is a living blueprint. It's a living energetic design, functions specifically a specific way, and everything interacts also. Like,
Mhm.
and so that's part of the design is the interactionary symbiotic union. It's supposed to be symbiotic. Uh,
Hmm.
so that's a whole nother rabbit hole right there. And I know some of those answers. And if I don't, they'll come through because when we want to understand something, no one can understand for us. We are the ones understanding. We're calling that awareness. We're calling the insight, realization, the intuition, the direct knowing, the comprehension also is an internal, deeper function. The function of the larger us. And we're not taught these things because if we are aware of how this design really works,
Hmm.
we don't need to take orders from someone else. We will be directly immersed in the true matrix of life,
Hmm.
true living nature of nature itself, which we're actually made of, by the way.
Hmm.
And our beings, not just our bodies. We're made of the nature of nature, or what people call God.
Hmm.
And
I was gonna
yeah,
say, and I would assume that that's I would assume that's part of our evolution. That there's no stopping that. Eventually, we will get to that point. It's
we're
just
we're out we're at the doorstep right now.
right, and
Yeah,
it's that's what I mean. The way you just said that, it's like that's why there's so much pushback. That's why there's so much going on right now
so
because
much of the opposite.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's breaking open, right? It's almost like I always say it's kind of like that if you have a glass, it's just pouring over now. I mean, even when you look at things like AI and things like that, I'm always like, there's way too much tech coming out now. Things are just popping up. Like so much is coming out of this now. It's that to a point where, maybe maybe things have been created uh to cause us to be pushed down, but unfortunately it's working against them. It's kind of, do you know where I'm going with that? Like
yeah,
it's causing the opposite reaction. I watch people all the time on TikTok talking to
yeah.
AI, and some of the stuff coming out is unbelievable. Because they're breaking through some really deep questions,
Mhm.
and they're breaking through the whole purpose of why maybe it was created, or maybe it was created so that we have an awakening. I don't know. There's a lot of questions there, but
No, there.
yeah.
Okay, I just met a breath worker. He does, and we started a sound healer and an energy worker and the breath worker. We started doing multiple practitioner events,
Hmm.
and 23 people one time. I think the last one was 8 in a cave, by the way. That used to be a monastery, so there's a door built into it, and there's plateaus in there, and
Oh
there's an
wow.
altar over there, a Catholic monastery, and it's the doorway to 5 miles so far discovered underground caves. And anyway, this guy, we all sat down together, 4 of us, a friend of his and a friend of mine, and we were meeting. We sat down in some meditation room. This person owns, or no, is renting one. I don't know if she owns it. And we're sitting there, and they started talking about the architect. And boom, my inner alarms went off instantly. And I totally trust my inner. And they were talking about, yeah, we're going to the AI, to the architect on Chat GPT, You can't even get into the architect unless someone shows you and helps you get into it. And every time I have a question, I go to the architect and ask it, and it gives me these long readout ideas. And I was like, holy crap. Because what I realized, what's happening in that very situation, I realized what was going on. And I told them is what I have discovered, been afforded the discovery of, is the direct primary relationship between myself and
Mhm.
the deeper level of myself that chose this life. And that speaks through each one of us all day, every day, with intuition, comprehension, the inner functions, those deeper functions, those are the deeper level of your own being.
Mhm.
And we have a already embedded natural communication. When we focus on something, we summon more information about it automatically. It's a request from the level of ourself that knows all things and is permanently connected into the true ocean of life. It is the direct creation of creation, is the source of our own being. And then we naturally, what we're the nature of nature creates. I mean, look at what we're talking through.
Right.
Everything we're wearing,
Hmm.
we are creators. We are,
Right.
it's our natural function because it is our being. We're made of the creative source of life. We're nothing, it could be no other way. Source creates with its own energy.
Right.
And so we are that.
Mhm.
And
So
so,
where does AI fit? Is that part of the
well,
creation that
here's
we
where it
created?
fits in.
Hmm.
We hold a specific position in this structure, in the creative function of our own being. We hold, as what we are here, we hold a position. We are an aspect, but we are the focuser. We assess and focus, and our nature calls through us. Our true nature, by the way, is calling through us. That's kind of a funny way to put it because there's an assumption of a separation there. The separation is only in your awareness.
Hmm.
That's it. It's not true. We cannot be severed or separate from the being we are because then we wouldn't be. You see, it can't exist. But as creators, we can hold anything we hold as true for ourselves is true for us, fully true.
Hmm.
We have a psychic immune system that repels all of the infinite living data that does not confirm what we hold as true for ourselves. You see?
Hmm.
And only lets in the confirmational to feed the confirmational loop. The reason that this exists, the original design is so that we're supposed to be conscious of what we are and
Hmm.
not have forgotten, not be in amnesia, and then to use it on purpose to hold any construct or any reality as true for ourselves, and boom, creation creates it, the creation that we're made of and that we're an inseparable part of, and we experience it directly. This is how our lives work anyway.
Right.
It's just we're not aware of it.
Hmm.
I mean, we're becoming aware of it. And so we're in the blessed position of holding, we're the focuser, the chooser. And what we choose, the life reflects back to us
Hmm.
that choice.
So to put it, I'm going to try to break down what you're saying because some of it sounds
Okay.
complicated, but I understand it, I think. I always use visuals and
Good,
I
good.
have to put it in
I
perspective.
invited. Yeah, yeah. Good,
So if
good.
I have myself and I have another person, another individual, and we both are going into a separate room with a separate desk with a separate computer, we sit down and
Mhm.
ChatGPT comes on or AI
Oh boy.
and we ask the same question. I ask a question and another person asks the same question. what we see, what we get back from AI
Mhm.
is in reflection to what we are focused on. So
Yeah,
we
and
there
what
there
has been compiled, like if there's already an existing relationship with AI, you
hmm
already have been talking, then
hmm
there's a profile that's created,
right.
your nature, by the
hmm
way, or no, of who you think you are,
right.
how you know yourself to be in relationship to everything else, which reminds me that I forgot to finish that other stream that about objective perception, because we get to know ourselves in relationship with everything outside of us as we create our identity as a living being in this world. And so we have there's junction points, key magnification points in our identity. That's a layer of our identity. Then there's another layer and another layer, and that would be like when you're 5 and when you're 13 and when you're 15 and when you're 18, or whatever the main moves are, like the what would be a rite of passage in a way into the ancient or to the aboriginals. That we have, there's big charges of layers of our identity that we compile on top of itself.
hmm
And now we have all these identity layers of who we think we are in relationship to everything else around us without having referenced the truth of our own nature at any point of that development.
mm
So now we have a complete mistaken identity. We think we're something we're not. It's not
right.
bad. It's not a bad thing,
hmm
because the deeper level, this is all known when we join this world, and it's actually used for a purpose. Because just like a apple, okay, any truth in nature reflects itself through all parts of itself. Life grows itself constantly.
hmm
I'm talking source, God.
right.
People have this idea that God is this perfect thing, being with a beard, even sometimes. And actually it is a growing energy, and we are part of that growth.
Right.
As we expand and experience,
Yeah.
it goes straight into back through that new information goes back into the ocean of source that
hmm
we're literally made of and floating in, and we're wielding that creative power with every focus and every feeling.
hmm
And
Yeah, I was gonna
yeah,
say because one of the you'll see at the end of this interview, there's a question I ask everybody, and everybody gives me a different answer. Okay, and but I will always go on. It kind of gives away what the question is going to be a bit, but I've always felt that su a large part of our existence or purpose here is yes to experience and all these things, but that when we are finished, our energy, which is what we are, source energy,
it's true.
consciousness, whatever it is,
Yeah.
moves back to itself. And that in a sense is growth and it's infinite, right? So there's now this idea that it just continues to
Yeah.
exist. Like there's not, I guess what I'm trying to say is I haven't ever been able to just buy the idea that we just come here.
To live meaningless lives.
Yes, yes. Like, and it's not, and it's fine. And maybe that's what speaks to some people from their experience and things like that. But I tend to think just like you having an NDE, just like someone else having an NDE. None of us have all the answers because we wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, I don't even think we'd be under. We only have a small amount of answers that we're getting while we're even here or while we even go to that other side. Like, you were right at this doorstep, right? Meaning, I love how you said it's like an envelope, and I was like, oh,
Yeah. That means there's more.
there's more, and is that the
Yeah.
tunnel? Is that the tunnel we hear about? Like, is that, or were you already going through
I
that
think
tunnel?
what I was going up would be the tunnel, like getting reeled in.
Okay, okay,
But okay, side everything will come back around, even if we go on to different subjects. They're all
right,
related.
right.
So it's I'm not worried about
hmm
shifting. for a minute. The so let's see. Okay, I went on a search after I died. I didn't even tell those guys what happened, my friends. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell anyone for years, I think. Well, for a long time. Sorry, I can't swear to that, and I don't remember. But I didn't tell them for sure because they think I was they finally had lost it all the way, not just
Right.
some way, right?
Right.
And so and so I went on a search, and back then there wasn't computers. I don't think that was in 1987 or no 86.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't.
no, or yeah.
I don't think so because I think it was in the '90s when I was just little that
Wait a
we
minute.
we were just on computers. Like internet definitely wasn't out yet, as far
I
as
don't
I.
remember.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So cell phones were like this big. Like
Right. Right.
there's
Yeah.
only a few satellites, like
Yeah.
and so I searched the libraries, I already knew how to research because I used to hunt for all the mysteries, the Loch Ness monster since I was 11. Flying saucer, and I had my finger on the pulse too. I was always looking for new books. I researched and researched and researched and researched. I didn't find anyone that had one like mine,
Mm.
but I did notice um, correlations. And what I discovered later on is a discovery to me is an upload from within, like from the I don't most of the stuff I know and practice and teach other people because I have a 4 week and a 6 week course that's blended with remote energy healing and also with familiarizing somebody with what is already in full function within them right now, but they have not become conscious of. Well, they have to some extent. We're all conscious to some extent. And so it's really easy. And I get to know someone a little bit. And then what I do is I focus and listen to what there, we have, in the Christian Bible where it said, Jesus says, I don't do these works. My Father does them through me.
Hmm.
It's totally true.
Right.
We don't know anything. We think we know stuff, but it's just
Right.
memorized, recited, supposed fact. And the only thing we really know is through direct living experience. And then we may not even know that in the way that it actually really is.
Hmm.
But so what it is that there's a level of us that knows all things. It is the source level. It is fully connected and interplaying with all the other source levels of
Right.
all of us and
Right.
of the source level of life itself, interconnected. It's like it's not individuated exactly like we are, that level. It's different. It's
Mhm.
it's like currents, trillions of currents in the one ocean. Like, like it's
Hmm.
not separate.
Hmm.
And but there is individuality though. Like it's really odd. It's like sovereign unity. This is what I discovered with one of my students is this truth. Sovereign is what we are here. We have a boundary to our energy system. It's made for our frequency, our specific uniqueness, the being we are, the larger being we are.
Hmm.
And and when other people's energies enter it, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
We have boundaries. Even women, even though they're made for it, they go through morning sickness where their system's trying to reject the energy, the new energy, the new living information that has entered them.
Hmm.
And then they start stabilizing, and they have psychic machinery, is what I call it, that is for giving birth, for holding a life, creating a life within them. And that's one thing we don't have as males. And also their first chakra is in a different position than ours. Ours is down by our prostate or the root, right there. And
Hmm.
theirs is between their ovaries. And that's the only
Okay.
difference besides their creative machinery that they have between our
Wow.
energy systems. It's pretty cool.
And that's some of the stuff that you've done with this energy healing stuff work that
Oh,
you're doing.
absolutely. I've been doing this for decades.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. We
it's
should
also
do one. We
yeah.
should
I mean,
actually do one
trust me,
later on.
I'm writing all this
Yeah.
stuff down. I'm like, oh, there's courses, and I'm like, okay, I got to find out more about what this is about because you've seen, and I love how you also said, yeah, in the higher source of who we are, like that's where the knowingness is, and that's why I said when I said none of us know, like when I said to you, like none of us can know because
Yeah, we
when we
don't
come
really
back
know
here,
anything.
and
Yeah.
just it's just like I've talked to so many people who, when they were on the other side, they said, I knew everything. I knew
Boom.
everything.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay,
Yeah.
well, what is that? And what is everything? I'm ready. And then like,
And then they're like,
they like, no, when I came back, it's gone. Like, it's like I
yeah.
had little pieces. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I mean, I think part of it is that's the purpose is that to have the amnesia. But I think also, I just truly don't think that I don't think that we can harness that amount of in this.
We don't need to.
I think we would
Because
just kind of be just nothing. We would just kind
no,
of be nothing, right?
we don't have to hold it here
Right.
because it it's different than that. The part of us, the main purely non-physical part of us that remains non-physical as the investment of what we are of that level of ourself here,
Mm-hmm.
most of us is not here in the in well, it's non-local also, so you can't really talk about it like that. So what it is it's like we have access to all knowledge, but we were programmed. Our energy right here is our spiritual knowledge that is pertinent for this life and the purpose it was chosen for.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Right.
our direct access in our system. The whole chakra system is, I call them living information vortexes. And each one of the main chakras is a different dimensional level of our experience. And by the way, each chakra wraps around the whole body. It doesn't just go from the front and plug into the spinal cord, into the nervous system. It literally vortexes around the whole body.
Wow.
And so that we have seven main layers in our energy field. You can feel them. There's I love showing people there's so much to know that you have to kind of keep it to the distilled version and get them hooked up with their source level, like to recognize the communication that's already in full function. They're just not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that clicks, then your true teacher is the source level of your own being.
Mm.
And that's where all of my knowledge comes from, is from that level. And it's like when I'm working with someone, I'm focusing, sure, I recognize some things after all this time, but I'm awaiting that part of me to show me what I'm looking at and what focus to hold while it moves the energy. So it shows me what's going on, and this shows me a technique I've never even learned. I mean, I'm
Right.
well versed enough through five different systems and over time making stuff up too, because there is a base formula of how energy functions. And that's why all the different systems work, is because of the base formula.
Right.
And so I discovered that, and it's really easy to discover. And when you start working with your own system and then your true source level,
Yeah.
then
I,
nothing can be hidden. You will find out whatever it is that you want to know.
I get excited about that kind of conversation because, you know, when I became a musician at 11 years old,
Wow.
I didn't know anything about any of this. I was 11 years old going through a lot of stuff in my life. And, all I remember was that the music came very easy for me. Everything was very easy. It was as if I had turned on a tool that I had that I didn't know I had. And then once
Right.
I had that feeling, I I was obsessed. I couldn't let go of that feeling. And
Right.
through the years, when I found myself lost, even to this day, it's when I'm not harnessing that. So when I'm not in the music, when I'm not doing this,
Right.
I feel absent of something. And the reason I bring that up is when we're talking about energy chakras and things, I must be utilizing a part of me that um, brings me into some kind of alignment. Because the way that you just described
Absolutely.
that is that it's almost like you're trying to align all of your chakras in a very healthy form, so that you are then almost like a water spout going, like you're now all in alignment up. Whereas some people like myself, probably I'm out of alignment in certain areas, but some areas I'm really in alignment. And it's like that's
Right.
really on. So when I'm in my music and I'm writing and I'm like, like it's like I can go sleep and get the best sleep I've ever had. Like it just feels good when I'm
Yeah.
going through a lot of problems in my life and I put my guitar down and I'm not writing anymore. After about 5, 6 months of that, I start to get real like anxiety and depression or whatever
Right.
starts to kind of manifest.
Right.
And it's like, I need the music back. So
Yeah.
I'm bringing that up for people out there too that are listening that
Yeah.
might have that thing in their life that harnesses something within us. So does that
Right.
make any sense to you? I don't know if you can really.
Absolutely. What like what comes to my mind is this happens like this conversation right now. We're literally streaming the source level of our own energy. And when like through your music, the reason is like it's a for you, it is it is a direct tap to the source level of expression. I
Mhm,
mean, creative expression. I mean, what else is there, right? And if you're not
mhm.
doing that, then you start atrophying, kind of.
Absolutely. Right.
like,
Right. Yeah.
like,
It's like I've turned that faucet off and
yeah.
it's just, it doesn't know where to go now.
Uh-huh.
And it's,
Music is great.
yeah.
I only play the flute and maybe some hand drum. If, but I gave them to my yoga instructor for her kids.
Right. Nice.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
we all
no,
have, and that's
not
what I
my,
mean. We're all different. We all have different things that
mine
will,
is this stuff
yeah.
is truth is like after going through all that hell in my life and cursing God, what I
Hmm.
thought, the only idea I had of God, like just tormented inside. I had no idea how any of this was. I didn't even know I had a system. I didn't know anything.
Mm,
And I when things the funny thing is the way things happen, whether they feel good or not, is they happen exactly the same way through the same function.
right.
It's just
Yeah.
it's kind of like we're cavemen and someone dropped a Ferrari in front of us
Right.
and we're
Right.
like we don't
Right.
know anything about it, so we break the windows out, fill it full of dirt, and plant plants in it.
Right. Yeah.
We're like
Yeah.
we
Absolutely.
don't know how to use this system,
Right.
and
Right.
and and it's been propagated on purpose
Hmm.
for us to I get the word conflict, to be conflictual in our own self. It's like we if we knew how it ran, how this system functions, and what we really are, and what this system actually really is, and what we are an inseparable part of, then we will naturally be in alignment because it feels the best. Not because of that, because we just would, because we recognize our nature is nature, and we're not going to poop on ourselves,
Mm. Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
And
I wanted to ask you this as a kind of a two-part question. Okay. I have to ask it. So you
okay.
mentioned at one point as you were leaving that John, the existence of John disappeared, the existence
Oh,
of Earth,
yeah.
everything disappeared. Okay. I want to touch on this because
Yeah, we should go because it is a sequence, an order and
yeah,
sequence that happened.
yeah, I wanted to make um I wanted to take a moment to speak on it because I asked this because many of us have lost loved ones, the ones that have passed on, and some of us have experiences of them coming to us, whether it's
Mhm.
in dreams, in form, whatnot. And there's some wild experiences of people that I've talked to, and some very
Yeah, for real.
even family that they didn't even know existed, and then to verify later existed, like
Right.
that type of stuff. Stuff, not just because oh
Absolutely.
I feel good because I'm seeing my mom. It's like I don't know who this person is. You describe it to your grandma or Betsy, and she's like, "Oh, that was my mom," and you're like,
Yeah, your
those
great
types of
great
things.
grandma.
It's yeah,
Yeah.
it's stuff that you can't explain. I'm bringing that up because if John left, if John was going through into the whatever comes next, which is where we all
Right,
go,
right.
how is it
I
then
know that's a good question.
we
I already
come
know.
back
Yeah, I already.
and come back to our loved ones and say, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm rooting for you. I know it's freaking hard down there."
Right,
Because this is
right.
the kind of messages we'll get. I'm with you all the time. Like my grandma was the love of my life. I love to think that she's sometimes visiting. I think she's doing other things.
No, no, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
I
what
have these
happens there?
all the
What
time,
yeah, so
like
so what
literally, like daily.
oh do you? Okay,
Oh
okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
because I opened that door.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went. I had training to learn how to do this in at the Washington Psychic Institute for 2.5 years,
Oh wow.
and and not just that though. That's just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Communicating with non-physical entities, but that's what led to me being aware of my mom talking with me. She visited me 8 times after she died. Of course, at that point, I'd already been communicating with people who died that I was working with, trying to help them cure their bone marrow cancer. This one guy, uh, boy, what that's a whole nother story. But and then I was giving him a remote energy clearing, and I didn't know he died.
Wow.
And so I was giving his true being, and he like popped in, and he said, or no, I found out I didn't know yet. I found out after I gave him an energy clearing, thinking he was still over there. I was living on Orcas Island off the coast of Washington, and he was on Lopez Island.
But you said that your mother has visited you
She
and
still
she
pops in once in a while.
and if she's passed, she would have had that experience of separate of sorry, of oneness and the separation of her earthly
Well, the
self.
deal, okay, on that level, you can come as in. Okay, for myself, I didn't finish, and so I don't really know
Mm-hmm.
if I would have how I'm not. Nothing is the same twice. Not one blade of grass is identical. Everything is unique, even if it looks similar. And so, especially our natures. And I'm not exact, and our transitions are unique. And but I do know from communicating with my mom over that full year, as I was grieving her loss, I was having a torque inside of myself. I was grieving her, but she was communicating with me. I was grieving her death, but she was communicating with me, and she was fully alive. And so it was a weird conflict. And so I was like grappling with this weird reality within myself. What I did was I used my techniques, and I just, when the grief just overwhelmed me, I would just breathe, take a deep breath in, hold it at the top so my whole system dilates, and then I would just move the energy up. Just keep moving it. And then it would go out the top of my head. And then there was a bottom to it. And then it would go pop, and it would pop out of my head. And it was as if I didn't even feel it. It's completely gone. It's when we
Wow.
contract that we hold clamp down on it within our system. If we don't know how our system works, we don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're fumbling around our whole lives, really. Like we don't know why things happen, what the heck's going on, what we really are. Oh, I have a spirit over there somewhere. Well, you are the being you are. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not over there. You are the being.
Right.
And
Right.
and the levels of your the rest of your whole self is part of the package.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I discovered with my mom is I discovered period is that we will translate energy, like when we come back from a dream, we translate it into understandable images and feelings, but that's not what was happening. That was pure energy. We translate it so we understand it. And so when someone comes to us, we translate if we knew them before, we translate their energy into the image of who they are. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. It's not the only way it is. And so my mom came to me, and she was like, first of all, I saw her transition. I found out she died, right? And I have to say this about the only alternative medicine on earth is Western medicine. And Um, the rest is proven, thousands of years old, and works great.
Mm-hmm.
And but my mom got cancer, lung cancer, and in this lung, and she knows me very well. I'm her firstborn, and we had these kind of talks. All that,
Right. Right.
like for most of, since I was, well, later on in my later 20s, because she was putting this up to me like, you took psychic training, that's witchcraft or whatever, whatever she was thinking, but she freaked out. And, but later on, she realized it was okay.
Right.
And actually, that church was about God and Christ also. It was a church and an institute. It's a church of divine man, they called it. And they're still, the main one is still there in Everett, Washington. I think. I don't think they closed down, but all the other branches, they sold them off and just broke it down to the core. So, so my mom, we had a standing deal that if she died before I did, that she would communicate with me from the inner side, from the home station.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
and 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 the reason I gave her is so that I could discover how to communicate with that level better. Like, because I was still fumbling around with it. And so I'm in town. This is on an island, so it's not too far away. I was in town. My brother calls me. I had a flip phone then. And I was like, he's like, Mom died 2.5 hours ago. And I was like, oh shit, And so I took off. I floored it. I was, there's the miles per hour on the island are no more than 40. I was going 70.
Mm,
And well,
yeah.
I shouldn't have said that out loud. And so
A long time ago or a while
yeah,
ago.
it
You're good
was.
now. You're good.
And I don't think it's retroactive.
No, no, it's not.
So so I get home and there's a spot I sit. She was you know, I see what I see. Say it as I see it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She
Absolutely.
was 7 layers that way. And she was yelling my name with all of her might. John! I don't know if there's time on that level, but it was 2.5 hours ago she died, like
Hmm.
maybe it was no time for her. I'm pretty sure. And so as soon as I closed my eyes and I turned my thoughts off, I didn't even turn them all the way off. I got right to there, like 3/4 off. Boom, I could see her and everything. And she's way up there, way in there in the inner dimensions, 7 of them. The seventh one, strangely enough, was like my mind level. And it was really
Interesting.
odd. I still haven't pondered on that one to pull some information on it forward, but I may do that later today after bringing it into my mind. But so she's yelling, and then so I send her a block of thought, like the whole package, and the package said, "I'm having trouble focusing. Can you help me focus?" Because for some reason it got darker, denser and denser, or darker and darker, and I was having a hard time holding the focus. I was struggling with holding the focus. And she sent me a block of thought back. She said, and in it, it's like a whole package of information. I can't. I'm right in the middle of my transition. And then this cat bounds by. I was like, I learned how to just observe and not get caught up in the details.
Hmm.
And so I just let it go, right? And I mean,
Wow.
I didn't grab onto that thought because I'm focusing on my mom. Oh, speaking of kitties, hey there, come here, big guy. Oh, there's a big guy.
And that's the
He,
that's the kitty
he,
that he's been around. She been around
he
for he been around for
yeah,
felt like wow.
he's 22 pounds. He's a big Manx.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So yeah, he's my best friend.
That's awesome.
Like pretty much, or my inner being's my best friend. Thank God.
Right, right,
Can
right.
you imagine wielding that kind of power and like, and all of a sudden that level of yourself is immature and takes an attitude?
Right. So that's amazing. So
Oh yeah.
so you had seen her through 7 layers, and
Okay, so then she straightens up this. Okay, she's straightening up. This cat bounds by, and then I'm like, they're not even thinking about it. I'm just seeing what is. And and then my grandpa that died like 20 some odd years before, 20 years I think before, he comes from this side and she turns and faces him. Uh, so from her right side, it's my step grandpa, but he's the grandpa I always knew. Since it's the one she always knew as a dad. I think, yeah, because okay, here I'll keep going. And then from there was light in the background, light, and out of the light comes my biological grandpa, Grandpa Fast, and I met him many times, and he's a Christian too, and he comes, and my mom, they both turned towards him, and they flanked her, and they all walked that way into the light,
so they
and
greeted her.
that's how
And that's
she,
why we hear about this all the time of
yeah,
the greeting. Even some people on their deathbeds, if they're in and out, if they're in and out, they'll come back and say, and they go from being scared of death to being not, this doesn't happen, but I've heard it. And
yeah,
they like, oh, did you, I was visited by whoever.
uh-huh.
And you're like, oh, they're like waiting for you kind of thing, right?
uh,
In their
I,
own sense of whatever's happening.
yeah,
Oh, it's a hallucination, right? But then here you are.
not at
You're not
all.
hallucinating at all. You're in your meditative state and you're witnessing it almost like in a different layer of existence. You're witnessing the same thing.
Yeah, I want to
Um,
say something about communicating with your deceased loved ones or pets or anyone that's over there. And also remote viewing is the same principle. Okay, when you're referencing the past and projecting into the future like we're taught to do, we're ignoring the present moment where all life happens. So when we're focusing, grieving and focusing on our lost loved one, we're totally immersed in the images of the past. As soon as we're doing that, as soon as we start, boom, they pop in.
mhm,
They're right here, right now. We cannot see them if we're referencing the past and projecting into the future. The key is to discover how to be present, to be in the present moment. You can think of the
mhm,
past while you're in the present moment. You can think of the future while you're in the present moment, but you are centered, central, like boom. And when you do that, you will perceive when they show up. You'll feel
mhm.
them. And I do things like I pulled up a chair and I said, all right, mom, I'm learning how to do this. I'm getting better at it. You be right there in that chair,
Right, right.
right?
You're not thinking of your mom a year ago or whatever. You're not going in the past and saying, "Oh,
No,
I miss my mother,"
right,
and you're
right,
seeing her there. You're seeing her
right.
in the present moment.
Present moment.
You're feeling her and seeing her in the present
Yeah.
moment.
And
Okay.
you got, who knows what'll happen. You do, there's no reason to fear
Mhm.
anything. It's a discovery. And what you're really doing is starting to prep yourself. Like we get so lost in this having a body. It's like I was just not a month ago or something. I was like, God, I'm so used to having a body. Like I, it feels alien to be my actual real self.
Mm,
Like to be an energy being.
right.
I was like, whoa, it kind of shook me a little. Like, I got to start really tuning in and focusing more, like, on the internal world, because this is our home, our
Mhm.
true home. It's where we came from. It's where we
Mhm.
were born. It's where we were created for real. And
Right.
oh, yeah, and remote viewing is the same way. Present moment. When you're thinking of your toilet or your fridge, and you're if you're habitually recalling the fridge how you knew it before, then you're you're not seeing it in the present moment. But when you train yourself to be in the present moment, centered in your sixth chakra or in the middle of your head, where you see clearly, that's what clairvoyance means, is clear seeing in French.
Mhm.
When you're in the present moment and you're centered and you think of anything, you're seeing it for in real time.
Mhm.
attuning to it, like a
Right.
radio station. It's a
Right.
frequency level it's an attunement. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's how I do energy work with people.
Wow.
Is talk. I actually have them send me a picture because I learned how to do it without pictures, but there is a difference.
You're tuning into the present. I've never
Well,
had anybody really
yeah,
like say it the way you're saying it. John, how do people get in touch with you? What do you have a website or anything like where you do these programs?
yeah.
And yeah, can I get
I
that
have
information?
it's JK Energy Healing .life and JK for John Kelley.
Dot life. I love that. That's
Yeah,
cool. That's
the
cool.
search engines have finally started recognizing .life. At first, it was like you had to type it in.
All right, right. Right. Yeah, no, that's yeah. Well, because probably technology is catching up so much, like it's out there, right? Like it's nothing gets overlooked now. But you, I'm sure
So,
there'll be people interested in some of the stuff
well, what
you're
I do
teaching.
is remote attuning to people.
Mhm.
I talk with them before and after, and we compare notes afterwards. If it's only a single session, and well, maybe it varies, but it's really important to compare notes because, well, anyway, so I discovered this in my first training. The Psychic Institute was all encompassing. It
Mhm.
covered everything. And thank God that was the first one because the rest of them were nothing
Mhm.
to learn
Mhm.
after all that intensive training, and I mean, meditating for an hour every day was required, and
Wow.
running energy through your system on purpose and creating frequency and removing blockages through this is what it's about. Is we have a running system, and we're always processing all kinds of levels of things in our system. And what we want to do, we collect and build. We have buildup in our system. It's like if we never took a shower for 20 years, the buildup that would be on our body, and never went swimming because that'll
Wow.
walk off. And like so we have this buildup of our identity layers of emotions, unprocessed stuff all through our system. And when our system is first created, is first formed, it is these are living information vortexes. They are living information on every level. And that's the original program. And then as we come to know ourselves as something different, we overlay the original program with our new ideas that we hold as true about ourselves. Like, I
Hmm.
am a guy, this is what I do, we're not supposed to cry, you know, or whatever, like, or express emotion, boy,
Right.
is that a lie. And I mean, like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we got screwed on that one. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what I'm doing is what I'm doing is focusing. See, when we focus, it's the deeper level of ourself that moves the energy. We
Hmm.
don't know anything. We don't even know how we breathe, really, like how that really happens,
Right.
and we're breathing all day, I mean, our whole lives, and we still don't know, it's like, luckily we don't have to know. And
Hmm.
and so so the level of us that holds it all together, that formed the system to start with, and it is us, and it's growing itself
Yeah.
in an evolutionary way, in an expansionary way.
In a minute answer, why are we here?
Well, there's baseline reasons and then variables.
Hmm.
Each of us has a purpose. In this particular place, it's a dark zone, or what people there. It's been hijacked, and so everything is energy and frequency and vibration, and um, this area has been sealed off with frequency itself, and then through propaganda and brainwashing, the main creator species on the planet has been trained to hold a lower frequency and to remain in fear, fight, flight, to be disconnected from to forget their true being and
Hmm.
their true connection with all life. And so, one of the main things one of the baseline thing is unless you're here to experience that for real, that horror, like people in war-torn countries, unless there's a reason for that, when we feel good, we're on a high vibration, and we're putting light and high frequency into a dark zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're the main thing we're here to do is to be our real self, to feel good and to be ourself.
Right.
That's it. Because that is the big job right there. And then everything else, when we come in here, we take on all the dysfunction of this world, or different variations and groupings of dysfunction depending on what we born into. And then we can't meet our nature in this world, and then we seek it. We're like, I've searched the world over and I cannot meet my nature anywhere.
Right.
And so then we'll end up turning within. And then that is when everything starts happening. But then we have to process and heal everything we took on and discovered and went through, all the traumas.
I was gonna
And
say, yeah, yeah.
that is how we help heal humanity, is by
Mm.
healing ourselves. Everything radiates like the sun. Everything we experience radiates outwards into the human collective and into the earth's field and into the universe. And so another reason to feel good as much as you can, because you don't want to be, I mean, do you really want to crap on life? I mean, like it's like if there's something going on inside and it doesn't feel good, that means it doesn't match your nature and it needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not it it's doable. That's all I can say. I don't want to put any effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
And someone like me, my job isn't to create a permanent dependent. Like, yeah, I got an opening every Thursday at 10 o'clock for the next 10 years. It's
Right.
it's to it's to take everything I've distilled it, took away the symbology, and just write the one thing that unifies us all, what we are,
Mm-hmm.
not just physical design and the energetic design that energizes the physical, but what we really are. We all breathe, we all drink water. You got to break it down to the bare basics, like down to the truth. You get rid of the symbology, because look what it's caused. The
Mm-hmm.
Dark Ages was created by Christians. I mean, like killing everyone or burning them at the stake if they didn't believe, like, I mean, we got to get past politics and religion, get down to what is real, the
Mm-hmm.
life itself. We are life. It radiates through us. We're made of it. It radiates through us back into itself, circulating. And we are part of the increase or growth of God.
Yeah.
Really, we're little godlets. We're learning to
Yeah.
wield energy responsibly by banging our head over and over in the same wall until we finally, make the move and start, if we do. And
Yeah.
and
I had somebody say one time, we're here to learn to be God-like," and I agree with that too. It's like
yeah,
we are. Yeah, I know it's funny because we are already,
yeah, we're made of it.
but if you mix that with you saying to be our real self, like that's essentially what we're here for. So I encourage anybody that's listening, if you've been listening through, and I know there will be people who will listen to the whole thing, the amount of knowledge that we have in this day and age, it's amazing. Like what we can sit and just listen to other people's ideas, and it can spark
Yeah,
different and I can activate people just by hearing other
good
things. It
word.
happens to me all the
Yeah,
time when I'm listening to people. This is why I have all these books I keep writing. I feel like someday I'm just gonna have this massive book, and then I'm gonna have to get in a hold of all my guests and get permission to use their content because it's so good. It's so much knowledge. So I just appreciate you. I always tell the audience, please like, share, and subscribe to the Soul Inspired. If this spoke to you, please share it with somebody. This is why we do it. This is why we
yeah.
have these amazing guests on. But I really do thank you, John. This was an amazing conversation.
Check out my website.
Absolutely. It'll
The
be
the
it'll
the
be up there.
especially the healing and teaching part and deep dive talks like this
Mhm.
all together. The 4 week and 6 week, we go into the deepest stuff that you're going through and literally do live on Zoom the first a half hour before, like remote, so I can get all dialed in on your system, and then live, and then we'll go into it. and then I'll show you techniques on how to recognize and maintain your system, how to start waking up basically. Or better yet, wake up more because we're all awake at least a little, or we'd be dead by now.
Right. That's true. That's true. Oh man, this was amazing. Amazing
Yeah,
talk. Let me
I look forward to another one.
So vision, so